So, Guruji, tell us, how does a regular person realize that he is in need of spiritual assistance or has to get gemstones? How do they know what gemstones would suit them? And how do they determine what works out the best for them? Because there are a lot of people promising quick results, a lot of sellers of gemstones claiming of the authenticity and, promising array of benefits. So how does one be aware and differentiate and also understand what really works for them?
The first thing is to be realistic. Suppose there is a vehicle body that can take the power of a 2000cc engine. If you put a 20,000cc engine in that, what will happen? The body will burst. Similarly, an individual has to ascertain, do a SWOT analysis of where exactly he or her is. Having dreams is good, having fantasies is good, but obviously there is some kind of a reality. So before you choose anything, any path, whether it's the conventional counseling, meeting a lawyer or a doctor or whatever, you have to be open, you have to be having the faith and the desire to change. So that makes hard work mandatory. Taking hard work to the next level is smart work. So they say that talent is somebody who can hit a target no one can hit. But genius is somebody who can hit a target no one can see. Once a person is free from limiting beliefs and has this confidence that he or she is also a special child of God and can have a good life, that is the first step. Number 2, Dr. Stephen Hawking, in the brief history of time, says the future development of medicine lies in treatments based on light and color. And that is what gemstones basically do. They are all about light and color. As far as knowing the right gemstone is concerned, a typical kind of an error which most people make is to gather some information on the search engine, which is absolutely pedestrian rubbish information, because even the search engine doesn't know anything much. Of the total information available in the world, the biggest search engine today has crawled only 2.75%. That means more than 97% of the information is not on the internet. So your birth horoscope is one thing, your ambitions is one thing, your limiting conditions is one thing, background information is one thing, medical condition is one thing. A good consultant will take all these factors into consideration to make a rewarding recommendation. Whether it is a healing gemstone, whether it is a spiritual practice, and then you person should be able to make a qualitative assessment. Yes, that my life is definitely better now. That is one way. Number 2, like you said, that there are a lot of sellers. God bless them. Everybody has to earn their money. I have no problem against them. In fact, the way God has made this world, everything happens for a reason. Now at Gemstoneuniverse, which is something very normal for us but very strange for other people, we have something called as NGT, means no gem therapy. We touch around 4.5 million people a month, and a lot of them are interested in getting a gemstone recommendation from me or a gemstone from Gemstoneuniverse. So the easiest way is they fill up a form and then they write what they need the gemstone for. If they have some underlying conditions, they write that. And I analyze the chart and I make the recommendation. You will be surprised to know that around 35%, around 30 to 35% of the gemstone requests we send back as no gem therapy. we say you don't need gems. We prescribe gemstones, we recommend gemstones only when we feel that the gemstone will make a tangible difference in the person's life. And we refund the money back. And that appears strange to people. In fact, they become the most vociferous advocates that, why did you refuse me? I now want it. But that is the way. So everybody has a way, but a person deep down knows what is right, what is not right. And at Gemstoneuniverse, we have tried our very best. 10,000 entries on the blog, 3,000 videos, high quality videos, gemologist notes. We speak about market conditions. We speak about common scams. We speak about common errors, malpractices. All that information is there. But then there is a higher power. And there is something called as karmic debt. Yeah. If a person is destined to lose their money somewhere, see, there was something strange, but I can share. So we had a person over here who came to consult us. I've never met him. This was told to me by the team. And he had substantial developments in his life. So he wanted some kind of a crystal, and we said, we don't carry this thing, but there is some shop here in Cambridge layout that may be carrying this thing. He went to that shop. And then some XYZ astrologer had suggested him, had given him a idol of Lord Shiva, and that similar kind of an idol made of some green stone was lying in that shop. So he was a little bit taken aback, and he said that, see, how much is this statue for? And this person says 1,500 rupees. He says, what? I paid 10 lakhs for it. And then he was like mightily miffed, and he went to that astrologer and he says, you know, this is for this much and you gave me for this much. He says, no, this came directly from the cave in which Lord Shiva was meditating. And that guy believed it. So who are we to say, see, if people are pragmatic and realistic, definitely Indian spiritual sciences can give them great results.
That's wonderful to know that it takes a holistic information, detailed information to before recommending a gemstone or therapy. Now, the next question I'm very curious to know is that, we are talking about the Vedic sciences, and we know that the reach of it is in India and maybe abroad, and there is also an association with Hinduism. So I want to know is, your approach, something that is open to people of different faiths and religion, and how do they understand, because we look at the time of the birth, we look at nakshatras and rashis as it's done, among the Hindus. So how do people of different faiths realize that, they need gem stones and healing power of spirituality? So how do they go about with it?
I believe in God, and in Hinduism, God is called as Bhagwan. हिंदुओं में हम ईश्वर को भगवान कहते हैं. What is this Bhagwan? Bha is Bhumi, Ga is Gagan, which is space, sky. Va is Vayu, which is air. A is Agni, which is fire. And Na is Neer, which is water. The 5 elements combined together is Bhagwan in the true sense. Gemstones absorb these Bhagwan for millions of years and crystallize at a particular temperature and pressure, taking that energy. Now, sun, Surya, in Hinduism is called as Pratyaksha Devata, an evident God. He is so powerful. Just imagine if you would stand in a blazing sun at 12 noon for 10 minutes, what will it do to you? That is so much energy. So, in all cultures, any culture you take up, whether it is Christianity, whether it is Islam, gemstones and their healing powers have found their mention. But none of the information is as detailed and as impactful as described in the Indian sacred sciences. And most of the powerful information is not documented. Most of the powerful information of gem therapy is given by a qualified teacher to an eligible student by the verbal mode. Because power in the hands of a weak person or an irresponsible person can hurt other people too. So, yeah, gemstones are there in all cultures, all cultures.
So, as humans, we are all a part of the same ecosystem where there are animals, and we are all living under the same environment where we seek energies, where we seek natural resources to thrive, to evolve, to survive. Why is that only human beings need the guidance of gemstones to get about in life? Why hasn't ever been that sort of an association made to, living beings and creatures of different species?
I would not limit that to gemstones only. Humans beings have been given a lot of choices. The animal world, those are very evolved beings. For example, if you see birds, if you put a lot of food or different food, like we put in the buffet in our weddings, their plates are not messed up like ours. They will eat only that much that is required and leave the rest for nature. Animals mate as per their seasons and cycles. You were mentioning about nakshatras. These are profound truths in plain sight which have not been explained or not being understood or not being leveraged by people. There are 28 nakshatras. The optimum period cycle for a fertile lady is 28 days. How you leverage that power, you will have to seek the guidance of somebody. Same for gemstones. Whether you are taking up modern management, you are taking psychology, you are taking life coaching, NLP or gemstones, making the right choice involves a lot of steps. Research, prioritization, taking a risk, and then having faith. Essentially these four subjects. So that is where you need a good mentor or a guru or somebody who is in the know of things, who will be there along with you to help you make a right rewarding choice. You can choose anything, whatever works for you, it's fine.
Yeah. So speaking of sciences and the natural resources and the earth and everything, and there is an association with the planetary movements and different planets for each gemstones and birthstones. So firstly, tell me, what is the difference between the birthstones and the generic understanding of gemstones, and how do the planets actually influence the birthstone? And
okay, I'll tell you something. There is nothing called as a birthstone. To be honest with you, it is a term coined for commerce, for sales. So there is an organization in the West called as FTC, Federal Trade Commission. And around many years back, they gave a questionnaire to all the jewelers. And the questionnaire was simple, that tell us month-wise which stone is selling most. And then they compiled the statistical data and they said this is the new birthstone list. There is nothing called as a birthstone. In India, we don't have nothing called as a birthstone. If you study the pure astrology or the pure Ratna Shastra, there is nothing called as a birthstone. So if you are wearing a gemstone based on the date of birth, I am a Taurus, I'll wear diamond, you will get pedestrian average results. If you say, no, my Lagna is this, my Rashi is this, my Nakshatra is this, you can't. See, if you have to run a car, you need 4 wheels. You can't say my date of birth is 1 wheel, my Nakshatra is another wheel, and you cannot wear 20 different kind of gemstones. If you are very, very fortunate, you will get to wear 2 or 3. That's for very few people. Even getting 1 gemstone, that means that something is very powerful in your chart. You can leverage that power. But you need a deeper study for that. But that's a good question, because a lot of people wear something based on the notion of birthstones, and then they end up with poor results, which they will have, and then they end up blaming the sacred sciences. So this, I hope, sets the record straight. There is nothing called as a birthstone. Yeah.
Yeah. So what about the association of, each planet as per a gemstone?
See, each planet has been given in charge of a lot of things. So a planet has a particular kind of a metal, a particular kind of a seed, a particular kind of a herb, a particular kind of a planetary sound, and then maybe a particular kind of a gemstone. So it depends what the 9 planets and 12 houses in your horoscope are doing. So it is like the ultimate SWOT analysis. Out of so many permutations and combinations, if you are interested in the academics of it, I have written an article called as "Which is the best gemstone choosing method?" Now, if you will read that, you will be able to appreciate that there are mind-boggling amount of combinations. The key lies in which is going to give you the best, result, the most potent result. And that requires a deep study, also blessings from the ancestors, blessings of the God, and yes, a little bit of good luck. I know one thing, if you have done your research well, you will reach the right place. Yeah.
Your book, The Secrets of Jyotish Gems, it has been translated in 6 different languages. It was then launched by the then President, His Excellency Sir Pranab Mukherjee, and the Prime Minister of Thailand.
Yeah.
So could you tell us what a reader, a curious reader, will have to keep an open mind about gemology before reading the book, and what makes it so interesting that you have audience across 6 different languages, Indian regional languages, including 2 international languages, German and Thai as well?
See, this publication of book was not a very planned move. In a very fortuitous circumstances, I met the grand old man of Indian publishing, Mr. Narendra Kumar, who has been the publisher to the Nobel Prize winner Dominic Lapierre and Larry Collins. And we had met for something entirely different. We were working on some project that required mentorship and business analysis. And then he asked me, why don't you write a book? I said, I wrote something, but it's in my computer. I'll tell you a very fascinating thing. He told me, why don't you send that thing to me? No contract was signed, nothing was discussed. I had come back to Bangalore. And after 3 months, my publisher, Mr. Narendra Kumar, called me up and he says, congratulations, Guruji, you are on Amazon. I said, Amazon? No, I don't sell anything on Amazon. And no, your book is on Amazon. So it was like a surprise to me. And when I saw that book, it's in front of you, I think that maybe it was divine grace that this book had to come out, because this is the first somewhat of an organized planetary gemology of India. And this book has not been written for the general public. This book has been written for avid lovers of occult spirituality and astrology. In fact, I used to distribute some of these chapters as notes to my students. And that it has been translated already in 6 languages and being translated now in 18 more, speaks of the fact that everybody loves occult, everybody loves gemstone, everybody loves the healing powers. There can be no bigger evidence than that. Coming to your earlier question, that how does the West perceive that? Everywhere they love it.
That's a watershed moment for us.
Yeah.
So Vedic, sciences is very broad. And we spoke about occult, we spoke about spirituality, and then gemology and even astrology. For a person who's very new to the concept, I think they may use these terms interchangeably, but we know that there's definitely a tremendous difference. So tell us, which is a branch, which came from where, and is gemology a part of astrology, or is astrology a part of gemology?
It's like See, the hands and the legs are a part of my body. So the body is the God, ultimate divinity, whatever is available. I won't get into what is a part of what is a part of what. What I believe is, may you get what works for you. You know, I come from a fairly okay educated background with so many doctors and everything, but I don't criticize them, they don't criticize me. It's a good world, so whatever works for whatever.
So tell us about Gemstone Universe and whom does it cater to?
The Gemstone Universe caters to all the gemstones in the universe, whether it is people, whether it is animals, organisms. Everyone should be a gemstone. That is what we believe in, and everyone is a gemstone. When a person comes to us, our tagline is, a gem is for a gem, and you are one. And there are certain times when a person doesn't feel like that, and we ensure that we take that person to that level where that person feels like a gem, makes other feel like a gem, is a winner, make other people winner. That is the philosophy of Gemstone Universe.
Okay. So what are the types of services and consultations and that you provide for your customers? How do they go about with it?
It is a very nice question. A couple of years back, I was in a flight and a gentleman suddenly came in and sat next to me. And conventionally, this is the way it goes, that I am XYZ and I do this. So this person came in and I was actually thinking something. And then he says, I am this, pleasure to meet you. And I said, okay, I am this, pleasure to meet you too. And then he says, I do this, I work here. Typically, that is how normal introductions are. So I said, good for you. And I again went to sleep. And then I could sense that he was a little bit uncomfortable because he was expecting I should say something back. And then he says, so what do you do? It was a tough question actually. And then I closed my eyes again and I was processing this, what do I do? And then I opened my eyes and I said, see, listen, I was thinking about what you asked me, and the regular thing would have been, I am XYZ at XYZ company. But that would not have been a correct definition. I said to him that people remember us when they are in trouble or they have a problem that they cannot solve. And then we speak about Gemstone Universe or something. Here, we have the privilege and the blessing to have so much of talent that from a wide spectrum of tools, resources, and knowledge, we are able to help a person lead a better life. But the base strength starts from an astrological consultation. And the way we approach astrology is, we think that this is a navigation map. And then we make a choice. Which direction we have to go, when we have to go, what we have to leverage. And then we add gemstones or sound therapy, meaning mantra chanting, or psychology, or training, coaching, mentorship, or maybe even medical intervention. So we have the privilege and the blessings of having all these tools and expertise with us. So basically, if you ask us what do, we can provide astrological services, gem therapy, whatever. We provide services to make your life a better life. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So speaking of humans of Gemstone Universe, from VVS Lakshman to Akon, you have a rather wide range of celebrities, politicians, actors, and achievers in their chosen field. So what differentiates a celebrity who have sought this consultation from a spiritual angle or maybe from an astrological viewpoint versus a common man who might be born with the same attributes and the same date of birth. So what differentiates them, and why is it that some people are successful with the help of gemstones and others haven't been able to make it?
I'll tell you, the humans of Gemstone Universe wants to share the humans amongst us, the humans in the Gemstone Universe ecosystem. What do we talk? What are our goals? What are our limitations? Sometimes we just want to share. Sometimes we are just comfortable in watching other people. So the Gemstone Universe is, if you are a part of a Gemstone Universe ecosystem, or him or anybody, they are there to watch out for each other and help each other build a better life. There is nothing pre-planned. The program is always live, and we start with some kind of a meditation, or we pick up a topic. And then there is one topic where we bring somebody who from amongst us has made it successful, and that person shares their life tip with all the other humans. So we get inspired, we get life lessons. What is a struggle? In fact, see, people think that a celebrity, becoming a celebrity, the so-called word celebrity, is an easy thing. No, it's a very tough thing. See, for an athlete running 100 meters, to shave off half a second, it's a tough life. Running morning, day, night, just to reduce maybe 1/3 of a second, not eating your favorite fruit or something, that requires many sacrifices. So these people who come in are there to inspire us that yes, this guy can do it, and not necessarily with gemstones, with many other things. We can also do it. Like I always believe, if you have been given a physical form as a human, you have limitless potential. It's just that keep your eyes and ears open. Yeah.
So Guruji, over the last 2 years, since the pandemic, there has been a drastic change around the world. There was more pain, suffering, more number of people turning resilient to changes, some people evolving stronger, and more importantly than ever, there is FOMO, fear of missing out. So from a spiritual and an astrological spectrum, what is the major change? What is the trend that you see when you consult people? What are they seeking for? What has been a shift in the perspective?
See, the basic challenges of man remain the same throughout the ages. If you are a good student of history and you check up the history of organized governments in the last 200, 300 years, you will find a pattern. The pattern is there is a small level crisis that happens every 3 years. There is a mid-level crisis that happens every 7 to 10 years. And then there is a huge crisis that happens every 100 years. So back in the early days, a crisis such as a plague was on a much more epic level because they were not medically prepared for this thing. One thing which I should compliment the people as well as governments, and especially those in the medical field and the people who helped, that we have emerged in a much better position, and the amount of liability and the deaths that were predicted fortunately didn't happen. But that being said, a very big change that I see in people is managing their own emotions in solitude is very, very difficult. When people get time to work from home or not in an office setting, not interacting with a lot of people, there are certain underlying complexes that come up, underlying emotions that come up, which they need help with. And that is a new segment of people, that some people are not even comfortable with themselves. And they use the internet, or which they call as entertainment or media, to keep themselves occupied. So mental health is going to be one of the major issues and fields which everybody should work to make people happier, more balanced. Yeah.
So you did mention that a great part of what we know about the Vedic astrology, spiritual sciences, because India was at the epicenter of so many innovations, so many inventions, which have had a massive impact on humanity in various fields, be it mathematics, astrophysics. But yet when it comes to astrology and subjects like gemology, I think the reach and the access to knowledge is limited. But now, thanks to the internet, everybody can get a lot of information, but most of the information is not authentic and well researched. So for the younger generation to create some sort of awareness and to say that this is another path to resolve your issues, another path to heal your problems and evolve as a better human being, what is the message that you and on behalf of Gemstone Universe you would like to convey, and where do you think, what would be a great starting point for them?
India is still the epicenter of everything innovative. My message to people is, whether they are interested in Gemstone Universe or not, whether they are interested in astrology, spirituality, or whatever, my message to most of the people is, A, protect your self-esteem and have the belief that you are a special person, destined to have a happy life. Number 2, be open to change. Don't base your decision based on perceptions. Don't rubbish anything till you haven't tried it yourself. Remain reasonably risk-free. Believe in yourself. Believe in your maker, whether you call it humanity, Bhagwan, some universal truth or whatever. But have this hope in the heart every day that you get up, that today is going to be a special day for me. Yeah.
That's very interesting and a very positive message.
Param Tattvaya Narayanaya Gurubhyo Namaha. Param Tattvaya Narayanaya Gurubhyo Namaha.